William Masula ichileke ngathi sizakuwe ukusukela enkundleni zokuthintana zesiphethamthetho sesifunda seMpumalanga Provincial Legislature lapho sizakuwe sikhona mngani wethu sizokulethela ukusuka nomhlaba sizokulethela yonke into eyenzekako sizokulethela konke okwenzekako la sizabe sikwethulela khona bunqopha lami bizo ngingumathutha William ngokwaMasimula mntwana kwethu qala lahlanu kwami ke abantu basemadeni obovu mntwana kwethu ngibona ilungu lesiphethamthetho ubaba uWerner Weber ukhamba namalungu wakhe ukhamba nabakhamba nabo bachinga ngaphakathi bayokungena bayokuhlala phasi ke ekulalelweni kwenkulumo yobunjalo yesifunda ezabe ithulwa nguNdunankulu umma uRifilwe Mthweni Tsipane namhlanje kanti ke njengoba khe ngatsho ukuthi inkulumo le yobunjalo besifunda nayiza kuthuleka haye kufuneke bona uNdunankulu azibawele kusomlomo wesiphethamthetho ukuthi ambize azokwethula inkulumo yobunjalo besifunda njengiqale ngemva kwami emadeni obovu obabona kwaba bosomlomo babomasipala abahlukileko lapha phambili kunobaba ongusomlomo ubaba usomlomo weHlanzeni district ubaba uKhumalo banja bakhamba njalo ngiyambona usomlomo wedistrict yeKangala ubaba uLaki ngwakwanzinisa ngiyabona bakhamba bunjalo bayalandelana kuhle njalo ngokulandelana kwabo bekube kuwogcina bachinga ngaphakathi echamber bayokuhlala bayokulinda ukulalelwa kwenkulumo kaNdunankulu lapha ke kuyagidwa madoda inyawo libethwa phasi phezulu liqatha kugidwa kamnandi khulu kwamambala ngendlela erara ukwenza ngiyabona ke nakamalungu esiphethamthetho ngaphasi kwehlangano ephikisako iDemocratic Alliance ngiyambona ubaba uGrobler ukhamba nomma uJane Sithole onguye oqeda ukubekwa njengomdosi phambili wesifunda seMpumalanga ngiqale umma uTrudy Grove Morgan bayangena umuntu ukhamba nowakwakhe ke emadeni obovu kamnandi khulu kwamambala ngendlela erara ukwenza lalela ke mntwana kwethu sikhamba nawe kuhle kuyakarisa bayangena abantu ngokuhlukana kwabo qala musi inkulumo yobunjalo besifunda ethulwa nguNdona bonke ukusukela yonke imikhakha yombuso iba khona nakuzokuthulwa lenkulumo yobunjalo besifunda seMpumalanga kanti ke njenganje mntwana kwethu mina ngizokulisa kancane ngikuchiye ezandleni zikadade ohlamanzana nangu ajame ehlanu kwami uzokuthatha akubeke atsho ukuthi kwenzekani la ku red carpet dadwethu ungabulisa abantu emakhaya utsho ukuthi ungubani sikuphi la.
Well, a wonderful good morning to all you viewers. Well, today we are here at Riverside Riverside, the legislature, where the State of the Province address will be taking place. My name is Princess Emma. I'm now with you for our lovely red carpet to see what the dignitaries are wearing, but more than anything, how are they anticipating the rest of the day? Yes. Yeah.
Siqale ukuthi ilanga lonke sesi kuzabe kwenzeka izinto la kodwa nokuqhakathekile ukuthi silinde uNdunankulu masilela uNdunankulu ngumma uRifilwe Mthweni Tsipane nawubona wonke ama activity la esiwabona ngemuva silinde bona kulungiselelwa bona namhlanje sizokuzwa ukuthi iprovince isebenze njani kugovernment bese sizwa nama plans ukuya phambili mina ke ngizokhamba ngiyokuhlala phasi kodwa ngifuna ukukulethela some leaders of these cultural groups just to talk to them mhlambe batshela abantu abasemakhaya ukuthi igroup yini ilidwa ngibani ibuyaphi bazizwa njani ngokuba la bazosupporta inkulumo yobunjalo besifunda yakaNdunankulu sengichiya kuwe sesi mina ngiyasuka ngichayisile.
Well, thank you so much. Well, there you have it. Like he said, that there's quite a number of cultural groups right behind me, as you can see. But more than anything, the most important thing is we want to find out from them, how do they feel film 20 financial year and what they're actually looking towards in this coming financial year. But more absolutely gorgeous. I need to give them that. And definitely the men are looking handsome. Our guests are coming through, preparing for this big day that we've been waiting for. Not so long ago, we did have the State of the Nation address where President Cyril Ramaphosa was the one addressing the entire country. But then right now, I'm super excited to have this lovely lady right next to me. Let's find out from her, what is a cultural group, where are they coming from, and how excited are they to be here. Mama unjani? Unjani, ma'am?
Ngikhona ngezowena.
Ngikhona. You're here today at Riverside Government Complex for the State of the Province address. Spulisa mama unjani and tell us about the cultural group yakho.
Okay, ngithokoza kangangani ukuba la ekhaya namhlanje lana. Igama lami nguPatience Thembekile wakasikhosana odo umdosi phambili wesichema impeperembe. Sithabe kangangani nathi ukuthi sizohlanganyela la kuvula iParliament enasport. Sithabe khulu kwamambala sizohlanganyela for ukunandisa umvumo omnandi khulu kwamambala umvumo wesiNdebele.
So mama, we're starting off state of the province address. How do you feel utiva njani ukuthi nikhona la namuhla?
Yazini ngithabe kangangani, ngiyazikhakhazisa ngesichema sethu sesiNdebele esiculeza umvumo wesiNdebele. Ngizikhakhazisa khulu kwamambala ukuthi nathi sisichema sempeperembe size lana sikhethwe sizokuhlanganyela endaweni ephakeme kangaka. Sithabe khulu ku-arts and culture ukuthi iselecte igroup yethu yesichema sesiNdebele impeperembe. Sithokoza khulu kwamambala.
Well, mama, lengikubonako lamva kwami ukuthi these are the youth, bantu labancane, that are taking part of this cultural group, and it's very exciting ukubona bantu abasesebasha baku cultural group and baqhubeka bayenda into labayithandayo.
Yeah, mina njengomma ngiyazikhakhazisa khulu ngokuthi ngibe nalokuthi ngiye nalelukuluku lokuthi ngivule abantu ababendazana namasokana abasesebatsha ukuthi bangagcwali ngestradeni, so ngibakhipha busy ukuthi bavume lo mvumo wesiNdebele, bangasilahli isikhabo, bangasilahli isintu, umuntu ngesikhabo. So siyakhuthaza kubo bonke abantu abadala ukuthi bakhuthaze iyouth, abantu abasha ukuthi basuke ekuma-drugs nakuzo zonke izinto ezingazi sibayise phambili, sibafundise ukukhuluma isintu, isikhabo, sibafundise negido lakhona. Ngiyathokoza kakhulu.
Well, there you have it, leader of the cultural group for the Ndebeles, and I must say it's looking very, very beautiful. Ngiyabulela kakhulu mama, thank you so much. Well, that's what you say in Ndebele, you say Nyatogos, and that is exactly what I'm saying. Well, the cultural group right behind me, it is full with the youth, and that is one thing that I love, is that the youth are taking part, and instead of being in the streets or focusing on things that won't actually build them, they are part of something that they love, and they actually, they show their love for their culture, but more than anything, they speak the language. We do have more. Unjani mama? Ngiphilile. Mama ngicela usitshele ukuthi ngijabule kangakanani ukuba la namuhla and ngiphi cultural group wena lo representayo.
Thobela ke rena ba mashego dilai traditional dance re tswa re le bushback rich go la shatale go la khoshimashego bani re kwa re thabile le tšatšing la lekgono go le monate re a ipsina re gatlhanne le bagwera ba rena ba ditšo tša go fapafapana go tšwa kgotleng tše nne tša lefase re re halala Mpumalanga halala a e gole e ye godimo e sa be lekgono fela e be mathomo mayo re fele re bitšwa ka mehla yotlhe re a leboga le re golela.
And there you have it, one of the cultural groups, a leader of the cultural groups, coming through as well to tell us how excited they are for actually the state of the province address. Hence they find themselves here at the provincial legislation. But more than anything, I have more and more. Well, How are you doing this morning? How are you feeling? You're here to be part of such a beautiful, auspicious event. How does it feel overall?
Oh, it's amazing just to see all these different cultures and background people together. It's amazing. The vibe is cool and how everybody just bounces off one another. It's really, really cool to be here.
So what is the name of your group, and what do you guys, would you say that you specialize in when it comes to dance?
So our group is called Rhythm Image Dance Studio, and we specialize in basically dance. So we have 12 different styles of dance that we do competitively, and then we partake in functions, and we can basically do anything that people throw at us. So Latin, classic, you name it. Yes.
So today you are here for the State of the Province address. How does it feel? Because now this is a whole different scenery, allow me to say, because it consists of the Premier herself to be here and to actually welcome her when she comes through. How does that feel, and what does that mean for your dance group?
It's really, really good because it gives us something to look forward to in this country as well, but also it gives you that feeling of almost like awe-inspiring to be so close to somebody so like high up. It's like our commoners, and we're like, yes, and to be able to be here and actually welcome her in for our group, it's an honor. It's such an honor.
Well, I must say, when I came through, I was actually excited to see you guys dance. I was like, oh my gosh, now that is beautiful. Just continue doing your art, but more than anything, have fun today.
Thank you so much, we will.
Well, thank you so much. More and more leaders of the groups are coming through. And I must say, being welcomed so warmly by them is absolutely beautiful. Like I told you, I do have more. And I have Mama. How are you doing, Mike?
Ngiyaphila manjani?
Ngiyaphila. Make sitshela ukuthi wena ubuya kiphi igroup nokuthi nidiva njani ni group nitithole namuhla nikhona la.
Ngibuya kumahlokohloko sibuya eMpumalanga eMsukalikwa. Siziva sijabule kakhulu kuba la, sijabulile kakhulu. Sizizwa nje siphatheke kahle. Sijabule kakhulu.
Kunjalo ke sisendlini zesiphethamthetho njengoba khe ngatsho ngaphambilini ngihlezi no senior manager we communications eMpumalanga Provincial Legislature ubaba uPaul Ngwakwambenyane uzokungena ke asitshele ukuthi so far kukhambe njani begodu siyaphi njenganje silindele ini elangeni lanamhlanje. Babambenyane siyakwamukela ku broadcast yethu, last broadcast khona live kuma pages we Facebook, YouTube weMpumalanga Provincial Legislature. Siza kibo bunqopha abahleze emakhaya, siyabamukela nabo sibalotshise. Lami igama ngingumathutha uWilliam Ngokwamassimula. Sihlezi nani ngizobe ngikhuluma nani kuzabe kuyokufika isikhathi sakandunankulu. Babambenyane ungabalotshisa emakhaya bese uyasitshela ke ukuthi silindele ini namhlanje begodu nisebenze njani bekwafika la.
Sibonga kakhulu Baba Massimula, sibingelele wonke umuntu lokhona lapha kuShamthetho nalababukele ekhaya. Egameni lebuholi bamake speaker umake Makhosazane Masilela nebuholi ku-administration bakababe Hubert Shabangu, sithi siShamthetho saseMpumalanga si modern ready ku-hosta le event noma kwenda le event ibe impumelelo State of the Province address. Njengoba sibona abantu bangena kuhle esishamthetho, singasho ngaphandle kwengabata nokusaba ukuthi sikulungele kakhulu kati simlinzile ndunankulu umama Refilwe Mthweni kuthi atobeka bunjalo besifunza kulo kuthiwa i-State of the Province address. Lo sikulinzele manje ukuthi manje ngo9 o'clock wonke umuntu ufune abe ahleli bese ukuthi ngo10 makaqala ndunankulu sibe abe wonke umuntu ready kuze kuthi konke kuhambe kahle ngemumo njengoba kuhleliwe.
Mhlambe nasingakhuluma nje ukuthi kuyini mhlawumbe ukubaluleka kokuthulwa kwale nkulumo kaNdunankulu sesivala nje sinawe ukubaluleka kwayo bese uyamtshela ke nomuntu osekhaya ukuthi angayilandela njani le nkulumo namhlanje.
Ibaluleke kakhulu le event namhlanje na. In fact ina two parts yodwa. Kungilokuthiwa kuvula sishamthetho ngalokusemthethweni namuhla. Number 1, kwesibili ndunankulu njengoba sishile utobe anenda lento ukuthi she's giving an account of what of her government has been doing since the last SOPA and the inception of the government of the day. And also she will be accounting noma utobe asho ukuthi sebakuphi manje njengahulumeni waseMpumalanga ekuthuleni tinsita ebantwini. Kwesibili kutobe ngilapho khona atawusho ukuthi banatip tinhlelo tokuthi kusukela manje ngitip tinvo lebafuna kutendela abantu baseMpumalanga singafaka tindzaba tema disaster la khona tindzaba intuthuko nje yasemphakathini tindzaba tabo load shedding ngoba i-load shedding noma kuyinkinga lebhekene ne-South Africa yonke kodwa nathi siyiMpumalanga sinenzima lefanele siyidlale njengesishamthetho saseMpumalanga ingakho si-expectile njengesishamthetho epholini bakamake Masilela ukuthi endunankulu uTobe asho something around that so kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi wonke umuntu bayilandzele akusingonke umuntu lo invitewe ngoba space sincane nako konke lokho kodwa ke kunema media platforms lahlukahlukene imisakato lehlukahlukene ngesibithe ngamagama manje ngenxa yesikhathi kodwa nema social media platform wena bo YouTube Facebook sicela ukuthi bonke labasemakhaya nabasetindzaweni labahleli khona bayilandzele lenkulumo ibaluleke kakhulu kuze kuthi noma sekudebatewa next week ku date leto announcewa lapho ama political parties la represented legislature seka debate le state of the province address bakwati kuyilandzelela futhi ukuthi ibaluleke njani kubo siyabonga kakhulu mnumzane Masimuni.
Thank you very much Sithokozile Babumbenyane nguye ophethe zokuthindana la kusibetha mthetho sesifunda seMpumalanga Senior Manager for Communications in the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature kanti-ke ngaphandle kokumotsha isikhathi Sithokozile Babumbenyane ungaqhubeka baba usebenze ngoba siyazi izinto zinenge ezenzekako njenganje njeke ngihlezi la nomdosi phambili esifundeni seMpumalanga kuhlangano ephikisa enye yenhlangano esiphikisa kweDemocratic Alliance ngumma nguJane ngwakwasithole kodwa nje ngihlezi naye njengelunga lesibetha mthetho angifuni besiye lapho sikhuluma khona indaba zepolitiki nani kodwa nje ngihlezi naye njengelunga lesibetha mthetho member of the provincial legislature ngaphasi kweDemocratic Alliance ngiza kuwe mntwana kwethu Facebook YouTube yeMpumalanga Provincial Legislature kulapho siza kuwe sikhona siyakwamukela Makesithole.
Ngiyabonga futhi sijabulile ukuba la namhlanje njengoba sizolalela uPremier wethu asinikeza i-state of the province sijabule kakhulu and sikulindele kakhulu ukuthi sizwe ukuthi uPremier usiphatheleni.
Alright mhlambe yini expectako nina esayidini lenu njengamalungu wesishayamthetho la?
Njengamalungu esishayamthetho si-expecta ukuthi njengabantu baseMpumalanga uPremier uzositshela iplan esinayo njengeprovince ngendaba ye-Eskom nama-rolling blackouts ngoba sizokhumbula ukuthi uPremier wa-announce i-Just Energy program ukuthi uzothola ama-investment azosiza ukuthi singasadephendi kakhulu ku-Eskom nokurefubisha iKomati Power Station. Ngiyathemba ukuthi uPremier uzos-update ngaloko njengoba kungasi inkinga yala e-legislature kuphela inkinga ya wonke umuntu wala eMpumalanga ukuthi uPremier asithathe asilethele ifeedback ukuthi kuhamba njani ngaloko silindele nokuthi asitshele ngalama masipala la ungathi ayahluleka ukudeliver ama basics afana nendaba zamanzi khona ama masipala strugglisha kakhulu highlightwa auditor general ngiyathemba ukuthi uPremier naye kuyamhlupha lokho ukuthi kukhona ama masipala ungathi nje ngempela kunzima ukuqhubekela phambili uzowasiza kanjani lawo mamasipala kanti futhi angeke si-ignore indaba yama-flood sibonile ukuthi eHlanzeni district yathathwa kakhulu indaba yama-floods abanye abantu kumanje abanawo amakhaya bahlele kuma-temporary shelters so siyathemba ukuthi uPremier uzositshela ukuthi usebenzisana kanjani ne-national government ukuthi sizokwazi ukuthi labantu basheshe ukusizakala sibone nezinye izikolo zivaliwe namakliniki ngiyathemba ukuthi uPremier uzositshela ukuthi iplani ithini ukusuka la ukuya phambili ngalabantu labaye ba-affectwa ilemvula lenkulu lekwaba nama-floods.
Siyathokoza kakhulu ma usithole singanikhulula niyokuhlala nilinde undunankulu sikuthokozise sikcongratulate nokuthi ubuyile wabekwa njengomholi we-Democratic Alliance eprovinsini yeMpumalanga. Congratulations ma, asithembe ukuthi ke la kusibethamthetho nizokwenza sure ukuthi kuma committee you hold the departments accountable ngendlela efanele. Siyathokoza ma. Sisakhamba nawe ukusukela la endlini zesibethamthetho esifundeni seMpumalanga. Njenganje ke I am with the member of the Freedom Front Plus. Yeah, sometimes he says he is the real freedom fighter. Ubaba Werner Weber, the leader of the Freedom Front Plus in the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature. Naye lilunga lesibethamthetho. Mr. Weber, good morning and welcome to our broadcast, sir.
Good morning. And as you said, you are talking now to the original freedom fighter. And what do you want to hear from me?
I would like to know what are your expectations from today's speech of the Premier?
I do not know what to expect, but I know what I should expect.
Yes.
I should expect that the Premier would concentrate on those areas where the problems are, to see whether we can solve these problems. And the problems are in the municipalities, the problems are with the infrastructure, the problems are with safety and security, because especially where I come from, if you are a councillor and you want to vote for an executive mayor, then you are being shot and killed. So people do not vote anymore, they shoot one another. And therefore I believe that she should concentrate on that. She should concentrate on the local economy so that we can get going on the economy once again, especially after the floods. The floods have caused a massive damage to infrastructure, and maybe there must be done something special about the aftermath of the tremendous floods, especially in the Lowveld.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weber. Thank you very much for your time, sir. You can now go back and sit and wait for the Premier's speech. I hope the things that you are raising will be there in the speech. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Njenganje ngiyasuka lapho ngichinga nje kumdosi phambili wehlangano okungiyo the official opposition la eMpumalanga Provincial Legislature ngubaba uColin ngwakwasidibe, lilunga lesibethamthetho elihloniphekileko ngaphasi kwehlangano ye-Economic Freedom Fighters. Kodwa njengoba ngichile ukuthi nangihlezi nabo la siku YouTube ne Facebook yesibethamthetho ngikhuluma nabo njengamalungu wesibethamthetho, angifuni ukungena khulu kwezepolitiki nombanganarha. Mina ngikhuluma nabo as members of the provincial legislature who are coming to receive ispeech sikandunankulu wesifunda seMpumalanga. Baba Sidibe siyakwamukela.
Ngiyakwamukela ngubingelele.
Asibonge mhlambe nasingezwe Baba Sidibe ukuthi yini mhlambe wena nenhlangano yakho noma mhlambe njengelungu lesishamthetho enilindele ukukuzwa ku speech sika Premier naloko ni expecta ukuthi ngathi angakukhuluma ku speech sakhe so that sise iMpumalanga phambili.
Yeah, okokucala sifuna ukuzwa ama results, imiphumela yaloko wasithembisa kona kulomnyaka ondlule. Wasithembisa uPremier ukuthi uzakhela amadamu i4. Aphi amadamu? Sifuna kwazi ngoba sinenkinga yemanzi the whole of Mpumalanga. Ukuthi aphi lamadamu or ahamba. Sifuna kwazi wasithembisa ukuthi uzoba akhi ibhedlela ziyoba siphelile kulonyaka obudlulile. Ziphi ibhedlela ngoba sibonanga iribbon ikhathwa kuvula isibhedlela esisha. Sifuna kwazi ukuthi uzoyenzani. Excuse me. Ngendaba unemployment kusolakala kwemisebenzi njengoba iMpumalanga iphezulu ngelinani labantu abangasebenzi especially abasha. Iphi plan enozoyenzani ngokuthi avikele lemisebenzi ekhona lapha emamayini njengoba inhlangano ebusako ihlongozwa ukuvala amamayini. ukuceda kokusetshenziswa amalahla. Yena ke uthini njengomongameli ngoba ugesi uphehlwa la eMpumalanga, imayini eziningi zila eMpumalanga zenza imisebenzi eminingi. So uma kuvalwa amalahla labantu abaningi labasebenza lapha emayini abasupporta imindeni eminingi ama-millions bayosebenza phi la mindeni engaka iyodlala. Sifuna kwazi ukuthi yena ke njengomongameli uthini uthi kuzoyenza njani. Indaba yama-potholes, indaba yokuswakala kwey'kolo uyahlushwa every time makuvula iy'kolo abantwana abanama-class overcrowding. Uyenza njani ngoba savumelana ukuthi kumele kwakhiwe izikole ezisha, kumele lezidala ziwise kucale kabusha, kumele kungezwele ama-class apho lawo ma-class wakhe. Sifuna i-report kahle kahle before asitshela ukuthi uzoyenzani, sitshele ukuthi wenzeni ngalokhu wasithembisa kona ekucaleni.
Asibonge Baba Sidibe, sithembe ukuthi nokho lezinto ozithachako ezibalulekile ngizo eziyokuvela ekulumeni kaNdunankulu yanamhlanje njengoba ngitshile ukuthi sikhuluma nani njengamalungu esishayamthetho ngoba i-government i-accounta la i-legislature so nina njengamalungu esishayamthetho kuma-committee a-different kusishayamthetho yini abanomsebenzi ukuthi nikhulumele le mphakathi enibuya kiyo ukuthi izinto ziyenzeka. Sibonge kakhulu baba, ningaqhubeka nilalele inkulumo kaNdunankulu. Sibonge isikhathi sakho. Siyathokoza njengoba bewubona esithombeni sakho kade kukhamba i-judiciary kade idoswa phambili ngumma ubuyile uadvocate Buyile Mdluli la kusibethamthetho. Ke ngatsho ngathi nakwenzeka inkulumo yobunjalo besifunda kaNdunankulu kumenywa wonke ama-arms we-state abakhona ahlale under one roof bazokuthamela le nkulumo basupporte nalo msebenzi wokuvulwa kwesibethamthetho ngokusemthethweni. Ubabonile ke iqembu lamajaji lingena lichinga ngaphakathi, ngiyathemba sebahlezi phasi nje kamnandi khulu kwamambala ngaphakathi bazokulinda uNdunankulu. Kanti ke vane sazi ukuthi vane selakhambele eduze uNdunankulu nase sibona kungena ithimba lamajaji vane sele kuzoba sikhathi njenganje ke akhe ngamukele uSibebe uChief Whip we-Majority Party kuMpumalanga Provincial Legislature, ubaba uChief Whip ubaba uFidel ngwakwamlombo engihlezi naye njenganje. Chief Whip, siyakwamukela ku live broadcast yethu. Sicela nje ukuthi nina njengenhlangano ephethe ela legislature nanjengelungu lesishayamthetho elikhona la legislature elihlala kuma committee ahlukene, mhlambe namhlanje enkulumeni kaNdunankulu yini enikulindele futhi mhlambe ungasitshela ukuthi nijabule kangakanani ngalokho esekwenzekile njengesibethamthetho nanilandelela nitholani mhlambe okwenzekako okusa impilo zabantu bethu phambili. Ungababulisa emakhaya bese uyasitshela ukuthi ni expectani.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu, ngibulise kuwe ngiphinde ngibulise kubo bonke emakhaya. Mangisho ukuthi njengenhlangano ye-African National Congress njengo Chief Whip we-Majority Party la kusishayamthetho siyabona okwenzekayo namhlanje kunhle kakhulu. Siyabona kusina kuyadedelwana, siyabona kusindwe ngobethole, siyabona abantu bagqokile baqonsile, so kuhle kakhulu namhlanje. Kodwa ke into esiyizelelana kakhulu ukuthi sizolalela uNdunankulu ukuthi asinikeze i-leadership in terms ukuthi i-province yethu iyapi nokuthi izinsiza sizinikezela kanjani ebantwini. Esikulindele ke thina njengenhlangano ye-African National Congress, which is a majority party in the provincial legislature, ukuthi uNdunankulu asitshele phele ukuthi abomasipala siba repositiona kanjani ngoba sonke siyazi ukuthi masikhuluma nge-service delivery, i-service delivery ayiphumi direct ku-national, ayiphumi direct ku-provincial, i-service delivery yenzeka kubomasipala. So isiqalo sethu njenge-province masifuna abantu bakithi bathole lempilo engcono esihlala sikhuluma ngayo, kufanele ukuthi senze sure ukuthi abomasipala babasesimeni esibavumela ukuthi bakwazi ukunikezela nge-service delivery kubantu. So yilokho esikulindele kuNdunankulu okokuqala. Okwesibili msakazi ukuthi kuyabonakala ukuthi ayikho into esingakwazi ukuyenza masifuna ukunikezela ngosizo ebantwini ma inkinga yegesi sisabhekene nayo, ngoba uma ungesinayo ugesi awukwazi ukupompa amanzi, uma ungesinayo ugesi awukwazi ukuthi ufukule umnotho, amashophu wonke ayavala, izimboni ziyavala. Uma ungesinayo ugesi abantu baluza imisebenzi, uma ungesinayo ugesi umnotho wethu uyakolapsa. So okwesibili, yikho lokho okwesibili esikulendele kuNdunankulu ukuthi asazise ukuthi thina siyiMpumalanga njenge-province enama-power stations amaningi, njenge-province enezimine ezikhiqiza amalahle amaningi, yini esiyenzayo ukuthi lezi mine esinazo la ku-province, la malahle esinawo la ku-province abenefite abantu bakula ku-province and sikwazi ukuthola ugesi ngendlela efanele. Okwesithathu esikulindele ukuthi la ku-province yethu i-youth unemployment ila ku-64%. So sifuna ukuzwa uNdunankulu ukuthi yiwaphi amahlelo abawafakayo ekwenzeni sure ukuthi abantwana bethu, i-youth bethu, intsha lethu bayakwazi ukuthola imisebenzi. Ngoba mhashi ngiyacabanga uzovumelana nami ukuthi sinabantwana abaningi abafunde bagogotha, banama-diploma, banama-degrees, kodwa abakwazi ukuyithola imisebenzi. So singuhulumeni kufanele ukuthi si-attende le ndaba le, sikwazi ukuyilungisa ngokushesha okukhulu. Okugcina okubalekile ukuthi umnotho wethu kufanele ukuthi sikwazi ukuwufukula, ukwazi ukurecover from the impact of COVID-19. Kune program esiyibiza nge-reconstruction and recovery program. Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi uNdunankulu njengoba le program lena sayi-implementa ngo-2020, khona manje u-2023 is 3 years down the line. Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi yini eyenzekayo ekwenzeni sure ukuthi i-economy yethu siyakwazi ukuyirecover, i-economy yethu siyakwazi ukuyireconstructa, i-economy yethu siyakwazi ukuyidistributa yabelwe abantu. If singezwa lezi zinto ezinelezi eziwu-4 singajabula kakhulu siwu-African National Congress.
Awu siyathokoza Chief Whip, sithokozile ukukhulumisana nawe namhlanje. Angethembe ukuthi konke lokho enikufisako kuzokwenzeka. Ningahlala phansi silalela inkulumo baba, siyathokoza.
The arrival of more and more guests are is actually taking place here at the Riverside Government Complex, and I must say they look very, very beautiful. And obviously the gentlemen coming through looking very dapper, or allow me to say very handsome. We do have more and more of them coming through. We have seen quite a number, but then remember the red carpet is still on and they're still coming through. Make sure that you do not move an inch. You do not move an inch to actually see who's here and how are they looking. As you can see right behind me, we do have dignitaries coming through, and we do have some representing the Royal Council. But more than anything, I'm super excited, and hopefully we can have a word with 1 or 2 of them to actually find out how are they feeling about today and what really are their expectations for the State of the Province address here in Mpumalanga. Well, as you can see, dignitaries coming through and looking very, very gorgeous, I must say, and I'm really loving it. As it will be continuing and it will be taking place. Remember, this is the red carpet, and now I have to give you all there is to give, the absolute best there is. And then, like I said, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to speak to 1 or 2 guests. How about I actually hijack one of them right now? Good morning. Good morning, Unshan Bab. Just a word or two. Well, some of them are just quite shy, I must say. They really are not, they're really just hoping to actually speak about what will be taking place today more than anything. But then let them keep focused and actually be on the lookout of what will be taking place and what the Premier has to say. But then as you can see, the cultural groups are continuing to actually give out a stellar performance, It is a bright morning here at Riverside Government Complex. And I'm really hopeful that we'll be having a pretty awesome time, one that will be to remember and one for the books. It is the State of the Province address here in Mpumalanga, and we're at government complex that is, and our guests are continuing to arrive. I believe it will be starting, rather convening in a short space and not long from now, as we're just waiting for the rest of the guests to actually be on arrival. Make sure that you actually telling other people, just let them know that it is indeed live. The red carpet has started and our guests have started arrival, and make sure that they also get to know what is taking place in the province of Mpumalanga, what is happening, what are we anticipating, will our needs be met, but more than anything, it is an awesome time. The electrifying atmosphere is continuing.
Akhake sesibuyile ke sila la ngikhona njenganje lapha engihlezi khona ke ngihlezi no MEC ubaba uSpeed Mashilo, kanti ke njenganje ngihlezi naye njengomuntu ombethe ingwani yokuba mdosi phambili ngale ngakuhulumende ngesiyeni phecelezi ubizwa ngo-leader of government business la ahlezi khona. Ngisisitulo engimbize ngifuna ukukhuluma naye ahlezi kiso namhlanje. Siza kuwe live ku-Facebook page yeMpumalanga Provincial Legislature ne-YouTube page yeMpumalanga Provincial Legislature. Ngasilandela nabanye ungababiza lapho. Baba Mashilo MEC siyakwamukela.
Ngiyathokoza lethuba ngilithola kubuye ngilotshise abalaleli nebalandeli kanye nomphakathi waseMpumalanga.
Siyathokoza MEC, njenganje ke akhe sicoce sinawe njengo leader of government business. Sizokuzwa inkulumo kaNdunankulu namhlanje. Mhlambe na ungasendlalela ngaphandle kokuthi si-preempt izinto mhlambe azazithinta uNdunankulu. Sesikhulume nje njengo leader of government business ngomsebenzi kaHulumende ukuthi nina ni happy kangangani so far ngento ezenzekileko since last year bekwaphela umnyaka ka-2022 sele singena ku-2023 njengoba sizokwamukela inkulumo ezosisa phambili ireport nange-progress.
Well, kukhona izinto esi-happy ngazo, kukhona izinto singekho happy ngazo. Mangathoma ngainto esingekho happy ngazo esi-government le ndaba ye-load shedding. Uzakhumbula ukuthi i-load shedding i-affecta wonke umuntu. Kakhulu ithemeza amahlelo wethu ukuthi asikwazi ukudala imisebenzi ngendlela besehlele ngakho. Kungakho uNdunankulu uzayibeka abanzi le ndaba ukuthi kuyini esikwenzako noma sokwenza njenge-government yaseMpumalanga. Uzukhumbule ukuthi la eMpumalanga sinemamine amaningi. Out of 14 amamine, 12 alapha eMpumalanga. Mawukhulunywa ngendaba ebiza ukuthi just energy, ile ndaba uPremier silinde ukuthi ayichaze kahle njenge-government ye-province ngoba yasa-affecta nokuthi abantu abangaki bazaluza imisebenzi masi decommission. Kuyini sakwenza ukuthi la mine siwa-decommission better ukuthi akwazi ukubamba i-future plan ngoba amalahla akamili. Akusinto sathi izohlala ikhona azophela kodwa makaphela kuyini sokwenza ukuthi izizukulwana zethu sithole ukuthi ugesi usekhona. Kunamahlelo esiwenzileko sibona ahamba kahle very successful kakhulu ama-project lapho khona amanye ama-project bakathikinyezwa khona umphakathi ama-business forum esingenelele kakhulu ukuthi egcineni lama-project akwazi ukuqhubeka. Sibhekise nge-parliamentary village ebengivakashele phambi kwakizolo engibone kahle kakhulu siyaqhubeka. Sinethemba eligcwele ukuthi kule financial emaphelelweni sikwazi ukuyiceda le project. I-fresh produce market yalapha eMpumalanga eyiqhubeka kunayo uNdunankulu ayikhuluma esikhathi esidluleko. Ama-project esibona aqhubekako namaningi abanye kubomasipala nalezi nkinga esibukene nazo indaba zemvula ama-bridge khona lapha siqhubeke khona sayenza khona emigwaqo khona lapha ethatha khona amanzi. Ile sizokubuka ihlelo lethu ukuthi abantu bakithi kakhulu enkomazi lapha eHlanzini bakwazi ukuthola isizo, bakwazi ukuthola indlela, ngoba umnotho ngeke uwazi ukuba khona noma ukhule izindlela mazingekho edingeni silidinga kakhulu.
Asikuthokoze leader of government business mhlambe singene kancane ukuthi into ye gender based violence nayo into ethwenya kakhulu ku government mhlambe akhona amahlelwane enawo njengo government ukuzama ukusiza.
Ayikho into esiphatha kabuhlungu njenge gender based violence. Leveke sibuya kiwe sibonile lapha eDr Mroke eSinotlelo lapha abulele khona abantu abathathu mob justice. Sibonile futhi lapha eBabathoni umjendeni lapho insizwe esibophile ibulele khona usesi we-19 years. Sinethemba ukuthi masebenzisana kakhulu nomphakathi sokwazi uyinqoma. Si government sihlela umhlangano ne-Justice Department ngoba amaphoyisa ayabopha inkinga esikhathini esiningi iba ukuthi ecourt ngibo bafuna badecide ukuthi lo muntu bayamgcina esitokisini singakhuluma njengoba siwa-oppose kodwa kugcina labantu babarelesile. Ilezi zinto sizihluphako njenge-government kodwa sinethemba ukuthi lo mhlangano sizaba nawo iveki elandelayo sokwazi uku-ayina lama issues zwisane i-justice na iplaye irole yabo ukuthi isincede ukuthi sikwazi kuyisusa noma le gender based violence sikwazi ukulwa nayo successfully.
Sikuthokozile leader of government business sesingahlala siyokulindela inkulumo kaNdunankulu ngithokozile ukukhuluma nawe sibe nethemba lokuthi afana namhlanje akhulumile uNdunankulu aza kuphuma ama marching orders bese kuyasetshenzwa uhulumende wethu arakele phambili nemphakathi yethu ibe right. Sithokozile baba. Aha sithokoze njenganje ke sezithomile into zakho. iparade babahloniphe kuhle laba besipholisa kamnandi ngendlela erarileko bese bathi bangenza inspector iparade bese upremier ukhwela estage lapha athathe isalute bese kuculwa ingoma yesitshaba ngaleso sikhathi ke nakuculwa ingoma yesitshaba mina ngizabe sele ngijulile ngithe du ngaphandle lapha ngoba ingoma yesitshaba iyahlonitshwa abantwana bakwethu kufanele ke sifundisane izinto ezinye haye sizibone zisenzeka nakuvunywa ingoma yesitshaba akusizi izinto esifuna ukuzibona zizinto evane zisirane khulu manje ke nakuvunywa ingoma yesitshaba haye kufuneke ukuthi abantu babese bayajama nanyana bowenza ini uyilise uyibeke phasi nanyana bokuthi ugijimela kuphi usujame rwe ngoba kuzabe kuculwa ingoma yesitshaba ngaphandle lapha-ke zisabuya ama-cultural groups ahlukeneko siyawabona nakya lapha ayagida nawo amukela undunankulu nosomlomo nabezako bazokhuluma nesitshaba nokho-ke ma-cultural groups ahlukeneko sithokoza ubudosi phambili bomnyango wezobukhwari amasiko nezemidlalo esifundeni sempumalanga ngaphasi kobudosi phambili bukasomkhandlu umma uBT ngwakwashongwe kamnandi khulu kwamambala yibo-ke nawubona ubuhle lobu bama-cultural groups ahlukeneko avela ngeprovinsini mnyango wakamma uBT Shongwe umhlonitshwa u-MEC owenze isiqiniseko sokuthi kuyenzeka lokhu abantu bekhethu bayeza baba yingcenye yokuvulwa kwesibethamthetho baba yingcenye yokuthi upremier akhone ukubona ubuhle obukhona esifundeni sakhe ngaphasi kobudosi phambili bakhe yibo abenza ukuthi kukhone ukwazakala ukuthi sisifunda sempumalanga ngimaphi ama-cultures are-represented esifundeni sempumalanga begodu ngibaphi abantu aba-represented esifundeni sempumalanga nokho banonde batsubhula kancane unyaka nonyaka sigeze satsho bona baphelele bonke lapha bakhona njenganje kungenzeka ukuthi bakhona abanye ngomnye unyaka kungena abanye ngomnye unyaka kungena abanye njalo njalo zinto ezihle ezenzeka esifundeni sempumalanga namhlanje nakulilanga awundunankulu ezako azokwethula inkulumo yakhe yobunjalo besifunda basesekhona-ke abakhamba ku-red carpet uyababona mntwana kwethu esithombeni sakho uyabona ukuthi kwenzekani ngithe ngamabomu nje mina bangisuse lapha esithombeni babekele izinto ezenzekako ukuze ukhona ukubona mina uzakuzwa nje iphimbo kimi kodwana isithombe nje sikutshengisa bonke ubuhle obukhona obenzekako la emacabazini kwezindlu zombuso ngaphambi kwendlu yesibethamthetho sesifunda sempumalanga siku-building 1 ibizwa ngebaobab building mntwana kwethu ngegama elinikelwe yona ngoba izinto zethu siyazithanda begodwa sifuna uzithiya ngemvelaphi yethu sifuna uzithiya ngendlela yezinto ezenzekako esifundeni sempumalanga sithamele kamnandi ku-YouTube page yempumalanga Provincial Legislature i-Facebook page yempumalanga Provincial Legislature kanti-ke nalapha emirhatshweni sikhona nalabo abanganawo amadatha ngokuthi basilandele la ku-YouTube ne-Facebook emrhatshweni sikhona mntwana wethu emrhatshweni yakho yonke ekhona ngesifundeni sempumalanga sikhona kuligwalagwala FM ngelimi lesiswati mnandi khulu bathi elihlobileko ilimi lesiswati elihlobile kuligwalagwala FM sikhona-ke nakukwekwezi FM ikwekwezi FM kukhanya ba ikukhanyisela ba ikulethela zonke lezi ndaba kamnandi khulu kwamambala bunqopha mntwana kwethu ikhuluma kandunankulu bazokulethela yona bunqopha ukusuka nokuhlala kwayo. Ukuhlala kwesiphethamthetho kwanamhlanje uzokuzwa bunqopha emrhatshweni owulalelako. Kanti-ke nawungayitholiko le mirhatsho emibili engaphasi kwehlangano yokurhatsha eSouth Africa, itsho lapha kuyikwekwezi ngesindebele esitsengileko mntwana kwethu, iminyaka ema-40 yonke bakulethela zona ngesindebele esitsengileko, kungakho bathi kukhanya ba bakukhanyisela zona ngelimi elitsengileko lesindebele. Manje-ke nalapha kuligwalagwala bakulethela zona ngelimi elihlobile lesiswati. Nawungatholi lezo mbilezo uzobathola lapha kuma-community radio stations esinawo ngeprovinsini, kanti abasithathela inkulumo le on behalf of community radio stations i-Voice of Hope FM okunguyo enzinze la embombela ehlokodoroba esifunda sempumalanga. Kanti bona bathi nabayithatha la bayifide kuma-community radio stations amanye abalingani babo ayi-40 ayi-13 esifundeni, 14 ngayo i-Voice of Hope. Bakulethela yona inkulumo le. Nangingawabala kancane ama-community radio la esinawo azokurhatshela inkulumo le, ngingabala ukusuka i-Bushbuckridge Community Radio, ngibale ngapha ngeThabachewu i-Mesh FM Mashishin Community Radio, ngisuke lapho ngijhinge eGertsibande ngibale iMkhondo Community Radio, ngisuke lapho eGertsibande godu e-Emelo ngibale iLigwa FM ligeleza nendaba zalo, ngisuke lapho ngihambe ngijhinge eNkangala ngibale i-Epalahleni FM, nalapho inkulumo kandunankulu izabe ikhuluma bunqopha. Ngijhinge nale phakathi eKangala District sithole iKangala Community Radio Services izabe ikulethela inkulumo lena yebunqopha. Ma-community radio stations esinawo ngaphakathi kwesifunda sempumalanga bakhona bo-Inakekelo FM lapha ngenkosini eMthambothini, bakhona abo-RFM ngapha ngendaweni zakoBushi le akhonuku le ngikhuluma nge-RFM mntwana kwethu. Mirhatsho yomphakathi esinayo ngesifundeni sempumalanga ya mirhatsho leyo ozokuthola inkulumo le bunqopha izakuwe mntwana kwethu. Kanti-ke minengi hle akhona nama-online radio stations, singabala abo-Flare FM, sibale abo-Wiggle Tunes, abanye bakhona nathi la bayithatha bunqopha inkulumo lo benza i-coverage yabo la ema-online radio stations esinawo esifundeni sempumalanga mntwana kwethu. Manengi hle engingakababali nokho akusingabomuni kungoba minengi imrhatsho, minengi hle abo-Voice of Community bakhona nabo lapha e-Emelo kamnandi khulu kwamambala, Voice of Hope, Voice of Community, Bushbuckridge Community Radio Station, Mkhondo Community Radio Station, Nkangala Community Radio Station, RFM, Ligwa FM, njalo njalo bantwana bakwethu. Izabe izakuweke inkulumo le nabo Inakekelo FM, Ikutani FM, mirhatsho esinayo esifundeni sempumalanga nokwimirhatsho yomphakathi mntwana kwethu ezabunqopha namhlanje nenkulumo yakandunankulu azabe ayithula ukusukela lapha ngesimbi ye-10 poro phezu kwehloko ya sizakubona-ke bona uyiraga bekubelini undunankulu, asazi ukuthi uhlele kangangani, uyipake kangangani inkulumo yakhe namhlanje. Nokho silinde yena uyeza uza nayo mntwana kwethu, njengoba bengisitsho lokhanyana ekusenyana ngisithi kuwe nakwenziwa inkulumo yobunjalo besifunda azoyithula undunankulu. Yonke imikhakha kahulumende iba khona, ngoba uzakukhumbula bona urhulumende uhlukaniseke kathathu. Ngaphakathi kohulumende, angithi ngaphakathi kombuso kunorhulumende, kune-judiciary, bese kuba-ke ne-legislative sector. i-legislature njengoba sila njengesibetha mthetho milenze emithathu leyo yombuso. Umbuso sikhuluma nge-state bese ngaphakathi kwe-state kune-judicial, kune-executive bese kuba ne-legislature. Ya njalo njalo sibereka bunjalo mntwana kwethu. Manje namhlanje yonke imilenze le yomthathu ihlangene la kusibetha mthetho sesifunda sempumalanga ukuthi kuzokwethamelwa inkulumo kandunankulu yobunjalo besifunda. Calamusi abantu engibabala kwaba ngibo abantu abasebenzako ngaphasi kombuso. Ngikhuluma nge-state nangikhuluma ngombuso. Umuntu kumele ahlukanise i-state mbuso. Ngaphakathi kwe-state kunohulumende, lokho bakujwayele ukuthi i-government abaningi. Ngaphakathi kwe-state kune-judiciary, ithimba lamajaji laba abasebenza ngomthetho. Ngaphakathi kwe-state kune-legislature. Legislature-ke ifaka ukusukela eParliament ephezulu ka-national, la kune-National Assembly ne-National Council of Provinces, bese ifaka nembethamthetho zonke zolithoba zeSouth Africa yonke. Ngikhuluma-ke nge-legislative sector nangikhuluma njalo. Sibethamthetho sempumalanga nazo zonke ezinye imbethamthetho zemfunda zolithoba enarheni yangeSouth Africa. Manje ngikhuluma ngombuso-ke ukuthi uconstitute njani. Nokho-ke udlelwano obukhona hlangana nale milenze emithathu yombuso engiyibalileko ukuthi isibethamthetho senza imithetho njengegama labo-ke babetha imithetho, benza imithetho bathi bangayenza imithetho ithi ngaphasiswa imithetho idlulele ku-judiciary. I-judiciary yenza isiqiniseko sokubana imithetho iyalandelwa ngenarheni. Ithi ingafika ku-judiciary bese kuba ne-executive. I-executive-ke yona isebenza nge-service delivery. I-service delivery le abayenza ngokuqophelela bona nayo i-service delivery le yenzeka ngaphasi kwemithetho evumelekileko nemithetho okungiyo yenarha yeSouth Africa, imithetho evela kusibethamthetho senarha nembethamthetho zonke sesifunda. Kanti-ke ngokunjalo-ke bayasebenzisana. Nawuyibeka ngesiyeni, omunye umdosi phambili engangisebenza naye wayekuthanda ukuthi the three arms of the state are interrelated, independent and interdependent. Sikhuwa-ke leso mntwana kwethu, angazibona ngesintu uyihlathulula njani into enjalo. They are interrelated but independent and interdependent. Yeah, kungakho ayubona abanye abantu umuntu adideka nakukhulunywa ngale mlenze emithathu yombuso ngoba uzo umuntu athi Department of the Legislature ngelinye ilanga. Zinto ekumele sizifundise abantu ukuthi akuna Department of the Legislature. Kunempumalanga Provincial Legislature, sibethamthetho sesifunda leso, bese kuba nama-department wakahulumende wonke ongawacabanga: cooperative governance and traditional affairs, human settlements, safety, security and liaison, njalo njalo, culture, sports and recreation, economic development, finance and economic development and tourism, njalo njalo, minyango ehlukeneko. Kodwana-ke okuqakathekileko, lalela-ke ukuthi sihlanganaphi. Sihlangana ekutheni iminyango kahulumende yonke ukufaka phakathi nondunankulu ba-akhawunta la kusibethamthetho, ba-akhawunta kusibethamthetho ngoba yonke imisebenzi abayenzako bangurhulumende ye-service delivery bathi bangayenza bese beze lawo ababize isiphethamthetho sibabize umnyango ngomnyango bahlale emakomitini ekufanele bona bayoku-akhawunta kibo babe sebayakhuluma ukuthi benzeni bayenze njani bakhambe njani and okuqakathekileko okunye okufanele ukwazi ulalele usekhaya namtshana ubukele lokhu kurhatshwa okuzabunqopha kuwe ukusukela kuMpumalanga Provincial Legislature Precinct ukuthi imali ezisetshenziswa minyango kahulumende siphasiswa sibetha mthetho angeke uhulumende nanyana ngimuphi umnyango ngitsho nondunankulu uqobo lakhe imali esetshenziswa umnyango wakhe namtshana le-ofisi lakhe imali esetshenziswa minyango eyahlukeneko kahulumende iphasiswa la kusibethamthetho idlula la kusibethamthetho emakomitini bese ikhambe iye ekuhlaleni kwendlu yesibethamthetho iyokuphasiswa i-adoptwe lapho bese ikwazi ukusetshenziswa kungakenzeki lelo ihlelo lelo akunamali yakahulumende esebenzako ngaphandle kokuthi kwenze njalo bantwana bakwethu silinde yena undunankulu kobana afike kuhle khulu kwamambala njenganje-ke akhe uzwe ubumnandi bokugida kwama-cultural groups ahlukeneko mina nawe siyabuya siyahlangana mntwana kwethu nokho ilwazi lona into eqakathekileko ukuthi silishere nabantu sabelane nabantu ngelwazi ukuze bakwazi ukwazi ukuthi kusetshenzwa njani embusweni kusetshenzwa njani embusweni sithokoze sisesenani ku-Facebook page yeMpumalanga Provincial Legislature sinani ku-YouTube page yeMpumalanga Provincial Legislature siyoba nani ukusukela ngesimbi yeshumi emirhatshweni yonke ongayicabanga ekhona la ngesifundeni seMpumalanga phasi kwe-SABC ligwalagwala FM phasi kwe-SABC ikwekwezi FM ngaphasi kwama-community radio station 14 of them azabe arhatshela inkulumo le qalileke ngiphakamisa amehlo ngicala lapha endleleni mkamamanyana yazibona iinkoloyi ziyavela ngathi sesizokufika kule ndaba ekade sinqophe kiyo mina nawe ngiyabuya undunankulu nakangena phezu komadobovu siyaxoxa sinawe siyamtshideza siyamletha njenganje napho ubumnandi obenziwa ama-cultural groups ahlukeneko la emacabazini ngaphambi kwezindlu zesibethamthetho sesifunda seMpumalanga Building 1 Baobab Building Riverside Government Complex ngiyathokoza siyanamukela nonke kumapheji weMpumalanga Provincial Legislature.
Mandla. Ngingesene ngivale. Ya kungcono la. Mandla, labantu abaphesha bonke bayilila shona. Bayilila. Sesi, uphesha bekhisi.
Shane formally njenganje siyabona kubethwa isalute kamnandi khulu kwamambala siyathula siyaqala silandela amahlelo ku-Facebook ne-YouTube nemirhatshweni siyathokoza siyakuhlangana esikhathini esizako thanku
There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. May we be seated. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to welcome the newly sworn-in member of this House from the EFF, Honorable J. Malachi. Honorable member, you are welcomed. Rule 9, subsection 1 of the Rules and Orders of the legislature provides that the Speaker must inform the legislature of the time and the date on which the Premier must deliver the State of the Province address. And the House proceedings must be suspended until the Premier has delivered the State of the Province address, unless the Speaker is in consultation with the Premier decides otherwise. Honorable members, in accordance with the Rule 9, subsection 1 of the Rules and Orders of Mpumalanga Legislature, I have received a request from the Honorable Premier to convene this sitting of the Legislature to enable her to deliver the State of the Province address. And I have acceded to the request. I now have the pleasure of inviting the Honorable Premier of Mpumalanga Province, Mrs. R.M. Tsuenitsipane, to deliver the State of the Province address.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. May I take this opportunity and pass my warm greetings to your good self, the members of the Executive Council, members of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, the Minister of Justice, Constitutional Development and Correctional Services, Mr. Ronald Lamola, the Minister in the Presidency, Mr. Mondli Gungubele, Deputy Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, who happened to be the former Premier of Mpumalanga, Mr. Thabang Makwetla, the Deputy Minister of Water Affairs and Sanitation, Mr. David Mahlobo, the Deputy Minister of Transport, Ms. Cindy Chikunga, members of Parliament here present, Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces and other NCOP members, executive mayors, speakers, chief whips, and councillors of our municipalities present here today, the chairperson of the Mpumalanga House of Traditional Leaders, Koshi Mokwena, and other revered traditional leaders here present, Judge President Lekhodi of the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court, and other members of the judiciary in attendance, the Subs-Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga Province, Lieutenant General Smakaleng Manamela, the Director General and other accounting officers of our provincial government, our municipal managers of our municipalities, chairpersons of CEOs of our state-owned companies, the Second Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress, Comrade Maruping Ramokgopa, the provincial leadership of the governing African National Congress, led by the Provincial Secretary, Comrade Muzishira, leaders of the opposition parties, the Executive Vice President of SASOL, Ms. Charlotte Mokwena, and other business leaders in attendance, representatives of organized labor, faith-based and other civil society organizations, distinguished guests, compatriots, comrades, and friends, ngibingelele kubo bonke abahlali baseMpumalanga, ngiyanibingelela, kiyaletamisha, Lotshani, Absheni, Dumelang, Sanbonani. Madam Speaker, I am honored to be delivering this, our penultimate State of the Province address for the current 6th administration. We join the entire nation in mourning the loss of lives and extend our deepest condolences to all the families who have been affected by the recent floods. We also wish a speedy recovery to those injured as a result of these adverse weather patterns. In the 18th Brumaire of Louis Bonaparte, the philosopher Karl Marx writes, and I quote, open quote, "Men make their own history, but they do not make it just as they please. They do not make it under circumstances chosen by themselves, but under circumstances directly encountered, given, and transmitted from the past. The tradition of all the dead generations weigh like a nightmare on the brain of the living," close quote. So what are these circumstances which are not of making that we are directly encountering today? As we set out to effect positive change in the lives of the people of our province, we operate in an environment characterized by various stages of load shedding, water shortages, a rapidly rising cost of living, a high rate of unemployment rate, especially amongst the youth, with increasing number of people that are dependent on social grants, water, roads, and other social and economic infrastructure backlogs, and many concerns in communities over safety, crime, and poor governance. It is not all doom and gloom, though. As the President of the Republic, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, has demonstrated in his State of the Nation address. It was in his SONA that the President outlined several measures to cushion especially the most vulnerable from the ravages of adverse economic environment. On load shedding, for instance, the President declared the national state of disaster and announced his intention to appoint the Minister of Electricity in the presidency. Working in tandem with the National Electricity Crisis Committee, the Minister is expected to focus specifically and exclusively in resolving the prevailing electricity crisis. During the debate on the SONA, we indicated our readiness and willingness to spare no effort in ensuring that the work of the Minister of Electricity is supported. After all, with 80% of the power stations located in our province, we are the undisputed home to the national grid. We call upon those in our communities that live close to those power stations and the associated coal mines to remain vigilant in defense of these national assets. They should play their role in exposing acts of corruption and sabotage aimed at creating frequent breakdown of power generating units. It is common cause that you cannot talk load shedding and electricity shortages and not talk about the just energy transition. In this regard, during the debate on the SONA, we talked at length on how our province is heavily invested in the letter and spirit of the just transition. In particular, in ensuring that the commitment to leave no one behind is made real. We fully subscribe to the recently published Just Transition Framework, which states that, I quote, open quote, "A just transition aims to achieve a quality of life for all South Africans in the context of increasing the ability to adapt to the adverse impacts of climate change, fostering climate resilience, and reaching net zero greenhouse emissions by 2050, in line with the best available science. A just transition contributes to the goals of decent work for all, social inclusion, and the eradication of poverty. A just transition puts people at the center of decision-making, especially those most impacted, the poor, women, people with disabilities, and the youth, empowering and equipping them for new opportunities of the future," close quote. In the circumstances, the just energy transition can best be viewed as a subset of the broader holistic economy and society-wide approach to the just transition, one that looks specifically at the energy sector. Again, in our contribution to the debate on the SONA, we went into details on how our province is going to be impacted by our nation's commitment to achieve a low carbon and climate resilience economy by 2050. We made reference to the fact that 12 of the country's power stations are located here, as are the coal mines. Those who work in these coal mines, those who work in these power stations, those who provide goods and services to these coal mines and power stations, those who depend on the workers and service providers to these mines, the young men selling cold drinks and cigarettes to the workers, the elderly lady preparing and selling malamugodu, intlogo, and chisanyama at the entrance of the mine or power station. Those are our people. And those are the people we are most concerned about, that they should not be left behind. The transition will not be just if it fails to ensure that these constituencies of ours are not left behind. In partnership with the Presidential Climate Change, the Climate Investment Fund and the World Bank, we are exploring plans to diversify our local economies to reduce dependency on coal, reskilling and upskilling the most vulnerable in the labor force, and supporting small businesses and cooperatives in local communities to access emerging opportunities in the green economy sector. Notwithstanding the fact that minerals and energy are national competencies, I should confirm that we have accepted the directive of our governing African National Congress to take an active and direct interest in these sectors. Our interest includes that old mines should be rehabilitated, and in the process, the vast tracts of land be gainfully utilized in the new industries that conform with the just transition principles, such as manufacturing, agriculture, and assembly of solar panels, wind turbines, batteries, and others. We would also like to see our people being participant and derive benefit from small-scale surface mining and other beneficiation opportunities. Madam Speaker, the mandate, the roadmap and pathways we have pursued in the 4 years of this administration is derived from the 7 priorities of our 2019 election manifesto. These bold and ambitious goals constitute what we have dedicated our resources and energies to. They are economic transformation and job creation, education, skills, and health, consolidating the social wage through reliable and quality basic services, spatial integration, human settlement, and local government, social cohesion and safe communities, a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Lastly, a better Africa and a better world. Our work will be informed by the 9-point plan program of action that is comprised of the following pillars: load shedding and the energy crisis, just energy transition, a jobs war room, infrastructure showcasing, a response mechanism for disasters, the district development model and the state of local government, the SOE's performance review and repositioning, crime, criminality and immigration, and Operation Clean Audit. On the international front, and specifically where BRICS is concerned, 2023 is a very significant year. South Africa will be hosting the BRICS Summit, and President Cyril Ramaphosa will be assuming the chairpersonship of BRICS. 5 priorities have been identified for the period of South Africa's chairpersonship of BRICS. And as the province, we find relevance in the following: developing a partnership towards an equitable, just transition, transforming education and development, and unlocking opportunities through the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Following a request we made last year, I am pleased to announce that our province will be hosting the BRICS Roadshow during the month of April. The roadshow is a build-up event towards the actual BRICS summit. It will serve as a platform for both government and the private sector to showcase Mpumalanga's tourism, trade and investment offerings to the BRICS member states and partners. Madam Speaker and honorable members, 4 years ago, we were given a solid mandate as the ANC to govern. It is a mandate that we accepted with humility, and throughout the entire period, it has never escaped us that we have been made custodian of the wishes and aspiration of our people. We dare not fail nor betray this solemn vow. After all, we are carriers of promises that were made by our forebears when they met in Kliptown, Soweto in 1955, and adopted Umhlahlandlela, a policy document which they named the Freedom Charter, guaranteeing South Africans of all races their inalienable rights to govern and be governed through the will of the majority. The inalienable rights that we all enjoy, which have been codified in our Constitution, have their basis in that Freedom Charter. We are unwavering in our commitment to open opportunities and give support to all people of this province, especially those that were and are still excluded from the mainstream economy. We are under no illusion that more than 300 years of oppression and institutionalized discrimination can be overcome overnight. But we are not about to throw our hands in the air and surrender, nor will we be offering excuses as to why certain things cannot be done at the desired pace. After all, it is not excuses that our people are looking for. It is food, energy, jobs, water, and opportunities. We are as resolute today as our forebears were in Kliptown in 1955 to build a fair and just society. Despite a global economy that is facing headwinds and is predicted by the International Monetary Fund that a third of it will enter recession this year, there has been glimmers of hope that our economy is steadily recovering. However, this recovery is not without glitches and speed bumps, which could have a negative impact in the coming months ahead. Our country's economy declined by 0.7% during the second quarter of 2022, sparking fears that it could descend into recession due to the extensive load shedding and the hike of interest rates that have had an adverse effect. However, we have seen the economy bouncing back beyond the pre-COVID era during the third and the fourth quarter of 2022 to reach its highest peak ever. The economy expanded by 1.6% in the 3 months leading to September 2022. 8 out of 10 sectors expanded in the third quarter, with the agricultural sector at 19.2%, making the biggest contribution to growth. However, there are several developments and risks also in the global environment, which is not supportive to our domestic economic growth and recovery. Mpumalanga's estimated growth for 2023 will be very much in line with the South African growth expectation. The Reserve Bank's forecast for the national economy for 2024 is a very low growth rate of 0.7% and 1% in 2025. This is unfortunately not a good story and far below the economic growth targets we have set as government. Despite these challenges, economic growth picture, the Mpumalanga labor market actually performed well between January and September 2022, especially from the job creation point of view. The net job gains for our province was 146,320 in this period, which is a very good achievement under these circumstances. 6 to the 10 employment industries recorded high job gains, but there's a concern about the job losses in the primary sectors, which is agriculture and mining, as well as the private households, which are our domestic workers. According to the latest quarterly labor survey, force survey of Statistics South Africa, the provincial unemployment rate in terms of the strict definition improved from 38.6% in Q1 of 2022 to 35.1% in Q3 of 2022. This was, however, still at a relatively high level. The provincial unemployment rate of youth of working age between 15 and 34 years was at 46.5%, is of concern, and especially the female youth unemployment rate of 51.8%. The provincial graduate unemployment rate is at 16%, is also a huge concern to us. This highlights again the critical importance of the employability of and job creation for our young people and also women in the province. Madam Speaker and members, our socio-economic transformation response to the economic challenges is based on investing in social and economic infrastructure, strengthen partnership with the private sector and community-based organizations to create opportunities for those who are still left behind, and supporting the informal sector and small businesses. Our youth, our future. It was Oliver Tambo, the erstwhile president of the African National Congress, that once remarked that, I quote, "A country, a movement, a person that does not value youth and children does not deserve its future," close quote. This is why in our province we place the development and welfare of our youth at the center of the work of government. Below, I will elaborate of some of the initiatives directed at the plight and affirmation of our youth. Madam Speaker and members, the Premier's Youth Development Fund is now one of our highly successful flagship programs. Since its inception, the project has empowered 97 youth-owned businesses across the province, and funding to the tune of 140 million rand was allocated to them. In the current financial year, 36 companies have been approved for funding with a total amount of 92.3 million rand dispersed thus far. The ownership of these companies is comprised of 60 males, 45 females, and 5 youth with disabilities. These youth-owned enterprises are within sectors that are inclusive of mining, agriculture, manufacturing, transport, and logistics. Beneficiaries of the fund are spread all over the province, with the effect that every single one of the 17 local municipalities is home to at least one beneficiary. Just so that we put faces to these successes, allow me, Madam Speaker, to showcase some of the companies and individuals involved. Mo Africa Restaurant in Kondo local municipality in Garsibande district, owned by Mr. Treasure Tabete, is a business that started selling food from under the trees, then moved to a suitable venue through the funding availed by the Premier's Youth Development Fund. The business has now created 9 permanent jobs. As an economic spin-off, Mo Africa Restaurant has managed to create an additional business opportunity by collaborating with a young women-owned company that operates a boutique spa within the premises of Mo Africa Restaurant. The boutique spa has created an additional 3 jobs for the youth of Mkondo. With your indulgence, Madam Speaker, I will request Mr. Tabete to stand so that we may acknowledge him. Thank you very much. The second one being Mahatebe Pty Ltd in Victor Kanye local municipality in Kangala district is a mining company owned by Ms. Mbali Pulo, specializing in yellow plant hire. Ms. Pulu is also operating the grader, which was funded by the Premier's Youth Development Fund. The company managed to create 5 additional permanent jobs. The socio-economic status of these young people has changed for the better through the support of the Premier's Youth Development Fund. Madam Speaker, I have invited Ms. Mbali Pulu to be my guest today. May I request her to rise so that we acknowledge her presence. The province has recently advertised 2023 Premier's Youth Development Fund. The call for applications will close on the 17th of March 2023. In order to increase the participation of youth with disabilities and youth in rural areas, roadshows were conducted in all our rural municipalities. We intend to set aside at least 30% of funding for applications coming from the designated applications, particularly people with disabilities in rural areas. As part of the funding, funding their enterprises, we also provide pre- and post-investment support. Through the expanded Public Works program, we continue to create much more needed work and training opportunities for the poor and unemployed. In the current financial year, the EPWP has created 24,205 work opportunities through the use of labor-intensive methods. The majority of beneficiaries in this regard are youth, women, and people with disabilities. For Fortune 40 program, which has been running for a period of more than 5 years, has reached its maturity and is now producing young commercial farmers. Mr. Treasure Sibia and Siyabonga Nyembe from Dagakral in Dr. Pixliga Isagaseme municipality in Garsebande district. They operate a piggery project which they started in July 2021 with 21 sow and 1 bow supplied by the Department of Agriculture. To date, these young men have already sold 194 winners and growers to the abattoir in Emelo. May I request Mr. Treasure, Sibia, and Mr. Siyabonga Nyembe to both stand for us to acknowledge them. Thank you very much. Another success story is that of the Barberton Vegetable Farm, which is operated from the Barberton Environmental Center. This farm is the most successful vegetable farm in Ehlanzeni district under the Fortune 40. It produces cabbages, lettuce, spinach, beetroot, green peppers, sweet potatoes, and supplies the local SPA, Pick and Pay, and the general public with fresh produce. I have invited one of the young leaders in this farm, Ms. Ntokozo Shongwe, as one of my guests today. May I ask her to rise so that we acknowledge her too? Madam Speaker, Lebogang Mashego of Vlakplaagte number 1 in Tembisilehani local municipality in Kangala district has opened her own 26,000 capacity poultry layer farm for eggs production. As we speak, Madam Speaker, she supplies ShopRite stores in Kwamhlanga and Kwaggafontein. She has created 22 jobs in the area. I am honored by her attendance today. May she rise so that we may recognize her. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, the performance of our youth in the schooling sector continues to record great improvement, with our 2022 matric class recording a 3.2% increase in our overall pass rate from 73.6% to 76.8%. Of significance is the notable increase in the number of bachelor passes from 31.5% in 2021 to 33.5% in 2022. This was attributable to various interventions we have embarked upon to ensure that teaching and learning proceeds without hindrances. To this end, we wish to commend all the role players being led by the MEC Majuba within our education system for their tireless efforts in ensuring that our children's academic endeavors bear fruits. With all the intended interventions, we expect to create at least 90,000 youth job opportunities within the next 15 months. These opportunities will stem from 21 empowerment programs across sector departments in the provincial government. In an effort to increase skills to both employed and unemployed community members in the province, we have partnered with various sitters in diverse trades such as diesel, mechanical, engineering, construction, supply chain management, ICT infrastructure, local government, and hospitality. We are calling upon all stakeholders, including the private sector, to join us in massifying employment opportunities in the province. Working together with our municipalities, we will create strategic partnerships to ensure that our people get the employment opportunities that they desperately need. Madam Speaker, we want to reiterate our commitment as the Mpumalanga provincial government to use public procurement to promote economic participation in order to transform ownership of the means of production. In this regard, 30% of the provincial procurement spend shall be set aside for enterprises owned by women, youth, and people with disabilities within our province. As we continue with our efforts to fight the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, we are always reminded of the words of the liberation icon Utata Nelson Mandela when he said, I quote, "After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb," close quote. The Mpumalanga Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan is an important vehicle in this regard. The rollout of infrastructure programs, green economy initiatives, industrialization through localization, employment stimulus initiatives, tourism and agriculture are just some of the priorities areas of the MERRP. The implementation of these economic projects shall be treated as top priorities. We will also continue working closely with our social partners in all sectors of the economy to change the economic landscape of our province. It is not an easy task, but it is possible. We must and we will change the lives of the 4.8 million citizens of Mpumalanga, especially the most vulnerable people within our communities. We need to change the narrative of youth participation through building their capacities as emerging leaders, disseminating data on the positive impacts of youth participation, mainstreaming civic engagement teaching in schools, and creating a youth advisory committee. As government, at all three spheres and working with our social partners, we will establish a jobs war room in the province. The objective of this war room will be to intensify every job opportunity within and outside government and place young people into these job opportunities. We will target our graduates with technical and scientific skills for job placements, whilst on the other hand, supporting those who are not in employment, not in education, nor in training. Young people in these various disciplines under the scarce skills category who are beneficiaries of the Mpumalanga Provincial Bursary Scheme will be placed in public services to gain work experience. As government, we will continue to support and promote youth-led and youth-focused organization through seed funding and the capacity development, including informal youth networks and volunteer groups. Madam Speaker and members, The tourism industry in the province is one of the most strategic sectors that continue to show growth potential and can create and contribute to economic growth. Despite the challenges that were brought about by COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Europe and the lackluster global economic growth, which has led to the decline in disposable income, foreign and domestic tourists have been slowly coming back to visit our beautiful province. Our province is endowed with tourist attractions that encompass scenic beauty, wildlife, and diverse heritage. We are in a process of augmenting our natural attractions with artificial and adventurous sites. One of the key sites whose construction will commence in March this year is the God's Window Skywalk, which is a PPP project aimed at attracting between 45,000 to 60,000 tourists along the panorama tourism route. The project is planned to be completed in March 2025. Another PPP project is the development of a cable car linking 3 rendezvous view site and Swatini Dam. In the Barberton Makonjwa Mountain World Heritage Site, we will be building an education center, geosites, and geotrails in order to make the site appealing to academic tourists interested in anthropology. Madam Speaker and Honorable Member, I am pleased to report to you that significant progress has been made in the development of a new hotel and conference facility in Middleburg that I pronounced during last year's SOPA. I am happy to report that the construction has started and we are anticipating completion will be reached in July this year. This is a 5-star hotel which will have over 200 beds, top-star restaurants, a convention center, and a beauty spa. The project has over 20 local contractors that are already benefiting. In addition, over 100 new job opportunities for local residents have been created. Madam Speaker, I also pronounced last year that as part of reigniting the tourism sector, Kruger Mpumalanga International Airport would receive direct flights from Germany. I am delighted to confirm that the first Aerowings flight landed on the 16th of November 2022. To date, we have received a total of 182 direct tourists as a result of this partnership. We are planning to collaborate with both Aerowings and South African tourism in a city-to-city tour in Europe to attract more tourists to our province. Through direct marketing, we will continue to establish relations with other airlines from within Africa and across the world to place our Mpumalanga as a tourism destination of choice. I am also happy to announce that we have partnered with the SABC to host the prestigious Metro FM Awards for the next coming 3 years. As part of our effort to bolster tourism within the province and heighten our focus on the arts and creative industry. Now, the first session of this Metro Awards will be held here in Bombela in April this year. All these developments are aimed at increasing tourist arrivals both domestically and internationally. In the 2022-23 financial year, we have set aside 4.294 billion rand to continue with our strategic infrastructure development initiatives to unlock investment and growth. We have completed a total of 102 projects, which include both building and transport infrastructure. These projects include the 88 educational facilities, 3 health facilities, 2 social development facilities, and 1 library. For new schools in fast-growing towns, that is Makokeni Primary School, Mpumelelo Primary School, New Clarinet Primary School, and Batini Primary School were completed. We are anticipating to complete the following new and replacement schools before June this year. Msholozi, which is standing at 96% in terms of progress. The new Doornkop School, which is at 87%. Yindlelento, 82%. The Mkondo Boarding School, which is at 85%. And lastly, the Mpisi Chamela, which is at 79%. With regards to long-term secondary and Rockdale Extension 24, designs are being finalized and it is envisaged that construction will commence in 2023-24 financial year. There are some projects that experience delays due to community disruptions, poor contractor performance, and construction material shortages. The planning and design of the Linamalaji Tertiary Hospital in Emalahleni has progressed, with authorization in terms of environmental impact studies granted, town planning process completed, preliminary and concept design completed, and a detailed design being on schedule with construction set to commence during the 2023-24 financial year. Madam Speaker, great strides are being made by various road authorities to ensure long-term sustainability of the road network, and the following provincial road projects have been completed. The spatial maintenance of Road P170/1 from Gaskop to Matibidi, the upgrading of Road D3930 from Akenhoek to Hlubukani, the upgrading of Rural Road D281 from Volkras to Dagakral, the rehabilitation of Road P95/1 between Verena Crossing to Gauteng boundary, repair of a sinkhole on Road P9/1 Graskop, and the emergency repairs of Road D1043, which is R65 between Graskop and Hazyview. The Tekwana South Bridge on the D2296 made news headlines in February 2021 after it had collapsed due to the heavy rainfalls as a result of tropical storm Eloise. I am happy to report that we have completed repairs and the bridge is now operational. The Carino Interchange project on the N4, which provides a link between Bombela and Ganyamazane, N4 and access to Kruger Mpumalanga International Airport, has also been completed and in operational. In addition to the Carino Interchange, Sanral is implementing various projects in Mpumalanga, such as the Moloto Road that intersect Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo Province, the R23 National Road in Lekwa District Municipality, and the R33 National Road, which crosses through Mkhondo and Msuka-Lekwa Local Municipality, amongst others. In an effort to improve the provincial road network, we have prioritized several strategic roads. One of the roads that has been prioritized is Road P216/1 from Sekunda to Embalentle, which we will be reconstructing in the 2023-24 financial year. We'll also build a bridge from Emalahleni City Center leading to Pine Ridge, Clarinet, Siangoba, and Verena in order to improve safety and ease traffic flow in that area. Planning and design hereon will commence in the 2023 financial year. As a province, we would like to extend a word of appreciation to the mining companies with operations around Tabachwewu local municipality for partnering with the province on the rehabilitation of Road P171, which extends from the Dalstroom to Rosenekral junctions. These mining companies, led by the Anglo-American, will contribute 60% of the construction value of the project. Design for the project have been completed and construction will start in the 2023-24 financial year. As a province, we are grateful to these mining companies for playing a role in resolving problems affecting our road network, and we wish that other stakeholders can emulate this example. We are continuing with the upgrading, rehabilitation, and major maintenance of the following roads that serve the major tourism nodes in the province. resealing of the road from Graskop to God's Window, and light rehabilitation of road P57/2 from Graskop to Conwayne Pass in Tabachweu. The upgrading of road D4407 and sections of road D4409 and D4416 between Hlubukani, Velvedine and Timbavati in Bushbuckridge, and upgrading and rehabilitation of road D481 Egulindeni in Chief Albert Lutuli. Madam Speaker and members, there is a direct correlation between the quality of education system and the economic development of the country. It has been proven beyond any doubt that there is no other better investment that has better returns than investing in education. A highly skilled and educated workforce is a backbone of every economy and the future of every economy. Remarking about the importance of education, our liberal icon Nelson Mandela once said, I quote, "Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that a daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that a son of a mine worker can become a head of the mine, that a child of a farm worker can become a president of a great nation." Close quote. We are therefore determined to ensure that those who enter the basic education system at grade RR proceed and complete grade 12. We are seeing improvement in the number of learners who start grade R and complete matric, rising from 59.7 to 61.2%. We would like to see that figure rising above 80% in the next coming 5 years. To this end, we can confirm that the migration of the Early Childhood Development ECD centers from the Department of Social Development to the Department of Education has been completed. We will continue to invest in ECD programs which have proven to negate against class reputation and the dropout rates. As part of our targeted focus on ECDs, we will use the Funza Lushaga Bursary Scheme to encourage grade 12 matriculants to consider pursuing grade R teaching and be awarded some bursaries. We have capacitated 508 foundation phase teachers on teaching reading languages and 602 teachers on primary school reading programs. As part of mitigating the current electricity challenges, 50 primary schools were provided with content access point, which provides academic content to devices even when there is little or no internet access or electricity. The province has made great strides in terms of delivering its mandate of providing quality basic education during the past 25 years, with the last 5 years seeing accelerated growth in the number of social indicators. The Stats South Africa General Household Survey 2020 findings indicates that access to education has improved significantly, with the percentage of 7 to 15-year-olds attending education institution in Mpumalanga province sitting at 99%. Part of this attributables to the effectiveness of our learner support packages, which include the Scholar Transport Program, the National Nutrition Program, no-fee schools, and school hygiene packages. A total of 1,370 students furthered their studies in different universities within the country, supported through the Ephraim Mukhali Bursary Scheme. The department continued to support 221 students who are furthering their higher education studies at various levels in the Federal Republic of Russia. Following my recent visit to the Russian Federation towards the end of last year, we are evaluating and reviewing this program in order to eliminate deficiencies within the system. Let me take this opportunity to extend our gratitude to all our social partners who have for many years provided bursaries to our learners. Siyabonga. Relobuhile. Madam Speaker and members, a healthy nation becomes a productive nation. It is therefore imperative that the socio-economic growth and development of our province is underpinned by the health and the well-being of our citizens. We are committing ourselves to continue providing our citizens with affordable, efficient, and effective healthcare across the province. We have seen improvements in the number of health indicators in our province, whilst others will need more dedicated attention before we see remarkable progress. We have appointed a significant number of specialists, super specialists, and professionals in areas that has always been under scrutiny. We have entered into collaboration with Wits University with the aim of developing tertiary services, training and developing health professionals while strengthening healthcare services in general. The medical oncology services initiated in Rob Ferreira Hospital and Witbank Hospitals has managed to attend 7,847 patients, and this has resulted in a significant reduction in the number of patients referred to Gauteng, whilst also reducing overtime expenditure and long waiting times. 111 patients requiring radiation services are still referred to Steve Biko Academic Hospital. However, in the 2023-2024 financial year, the province will establish radiation oncology services by constructing a bunker at Rob Ferreira Hospital. We have restructured and consolidated 5 TB hospitals. Each and every hospital will have a TB ward with Witbank TB Hospital forming part of the new Witbank Tertiary Complex. We will ensure that the average medicine stock availability within our facilities move from 82% to 95% in all our healthcare facilities and above. The provincial HIV/AIDS 1990 status that I pronounced last year stands at 75% of those who are positive who know their status, 95.4 who are on ARVs, and 90% of people who are on ARVs whose viral load has been suppressed. Madam Speaker and members, our government will also intensify its effort of assisting those who have fallen on hard times and find themselves abusing substance and alcohol, the majority of whom are young people who come from poor families and cannot afford the services of private rehabilitation. During the year under review, the government assisted more than 2,000 of those in need to help through our 2 centers, Swartfontein and Kangala Treatment Center. The low economic growth in our province and relatively high unemployment rate impact negatively on poverty and inequality. According to Stats South Africa report, our provincial poverty rate is around 50%. In an endeavor to address this, we have decided to add a new dimension in our fight against hunger and poverty. We will be providing household equipment to the poor for self-sustenance. We will continue to provide food parcels to households in need. Let me also take this opportunity and thank families that have agreed to become foster parents to children who would be loitering on our streets. Thus far, our foster care program is doing very well. Cheers, thank you. During the year under review, Madam Speaker, having a roof above one's head is a right which is enshrined in our Constitution. We will therefore be able to service 5,000. We managed to service actually 5,938 stands under the informal settlement program against the planned target of 2,934 sites, which is a very good achievement. We also delivered 2,453 housing units through the various programs, including the Rural Housing Program, as well as the Military Veteran Housing Program. With respect to the finance-linked individual subsidy and government individual subsidies, we managed to deliver 1,179 housing units. We have built 7 childcare facilities and community hall. 7 social amenities facilities are almost complete, and 2 of them have reached practical finalization stage. We issued out 1,616 title deeds to rightful owners. One of the challenges we face is that most houses requiring title deeds are in rural areas, unproclaimed townships, and in state-owned land, which causes delays with the registration and issuing of title deeds. Other key basic services intervention to be implemented in partnership with our municipalities include the servicing of 600 sites at Kamhlushwa, have been completed to date, with more planned for delivery in the 4th quarter and in the 2023-24 financial year. The servicing of 220 sites at Rondebosch is progressing well, and these are planned for completion by March 2023, together with the bulk infrastructure. Construction of Empumelelweni Extension 7 and 9 internal sewer in Emalahleni has been completed, as the municipality is dealing with the outflow sewers. In Emakhazeni, we will commence with the construction of 900 top structures in the 2023-24 financial year, as service land is readily available. And through the INEP, we have secured 110 million rand for the electrification of Siyangoba in Emalahleni, which will commence in the 2023-2024 financial year. Madam Speaker and members, refuse removal remains a challenge for most of our municipalities. In order to address this problem, we are pleased to announce that the MIC framework has been revised to allow municipalities to procure solid waste removal trucks through MIC allocation to improve access to refuse waste removal. Significant progress has been made in addressing water challenges in the Tembisi Lehani and Dr. JS local municipalities through the Loskop Dam water project. The project has since been divided into 5 work packages, which include reservoirs, bulk pipeline, and water treatment plants. The regional bulk water infrastructure project in Kharsibande will also see the communities such as in Lothe, Cresismere, Wabatin, Balfour, to quote just a few, also getting consistent and reliable bulk water supply. In response to many of our bulk water infrastructure challenges and distribution thereof, a provincial water master plan has already been developed and shall soon be entering its final stages for approval as the blueprint to guide water infrastructure development in the province. Madam Speaker, I'm happy to announce that the long-awaited Mountain View Regional Dam, which most of the people call it the Crocodile Dam, to augment water supply within the Ehlanzeni district is now a reality. The Department of Water and Sanitation has commenced with the feasibility and environmental impact assessment studies for the dam. Indications are that this project will be completed by 2027-2028 financial year. All these projects shall be implemented through the district development model approach. In response to the challenge of unfunded catalytic projects and programs in the DDM1 plans, we approved the Public-Private Growth Initiative Operation Framework in the pilot impact zone of Ehlanzeni district. The model will be extended to Kharsibande and Kangala districts to assist in mobilizing investors or partners on unfunded programs. Madam Speaker, we are hard at work to stabilize the public service by filling vacancies and professionalizing the workforce. Since September 2021, when the moratorium was lifted, we have filled approximately 6,000 vacancies. Other than educators and nurses, who constitute about 2/3 of these appointments, other critical and scarce skills recruited include those in social work, radiology, pediatric, orthopedics, internal medicine, obstetrics, and gynecology. gynecology. As promised last year, we have hosted a provincial labour summit with organised labour within the public service. Subsequent to that, we have since been implementing the resolution thereof. Starting in the 2023-2024 financial year, we shall be institutionalising the summit resolutions whilst consulting further to make sure that we leave no one behind. As part of our vision of building a capable developmental state, we believe in a form of public servant leadership in which public officials become stewards of the rights, values, and principles enshrined in the Constitution. Such leadership must be collective in nature, with the obligation of senior administrators to shift their thinking towards mobilizing and empowering of others to create a governance system based on the fundamental values and principles of our Constitution. We therefore welcome the work of the Public Service Commission, which has produced a professionalization framework for a capable, ethical, and professional public service. Our government is going to be an active and willing participant in the implementation of this framework. Part of building a capable developmental state includes creating and strengthening resilience within various government institutions. To this end, and in line with my announcement last year, the process of the review of our state-owned entities has started. The fight against fraud and corruption will be intensified with the training and accreditation of all ethics officers in the province. In line with the recently gazetted framework, we are going to undertake lifestyle audits on designated members of staff. On good governance, we continue to strive for the achievement of clean audits by all our departments and entities. The building blocks to achieving these ultimate objectives are limited not only to the financial health and accounting practices of an organization. Instead, our focus is also about staffing, capacity to deliver, performance against predetermined service delivery outcomes. Because the audit outcomes of many of our municipalities remain a major cause for concern, we have committed ourselves to additional support measures. These include quarterly meetings with the audit committees of all municipalities, at which areas of improvements will be picked up and actioned early. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, as a province, we are now standing at the crossroad where we can either find pathways to inclusive growth and shared prosperity, where no one is left behind, or as a nation, we collectively descend further into the abyss of extreme poverty, unparalleled inequality, and social instability. We can either rise from the ashes, as we have done in the past, and take our rightful place among prosperous nations of the world, or join the list of many other failed states. We have shown time and again that we are a resilient nation. Our desire to rebuild and find pathways that will lead to economic growth supersedes the prophets of doom and forces of darkness see as insurmountable challenges that lie ahead of us. We are facing strong headwinds in front of us, but we are battle and combat ready. The belief in our own capabilities to be agents of change than mere spectators and passive recipients cannot be questioned. I call on all our peoples to stand united in our diversity, to declare our commitment and hold each other's hand, black and white, poor and rich, young and old, urban and rural, to build, protect, and defend our democracy in this magnificent province of ours we call home. We dare not fail. I thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Premier, for the well-delivered State of the Province address. Honorable Premier and honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to a luncheon at the Marquee next to the exit gate of the Riverside Government Complex. Honorable members and distinguished guests are requested to remain at their places until the procession has left the chamber. That concludes the business for the day. The House is adjourned until Tuesday, the 28th of February 2023 at 2:15 in this very same chamber.
All rise.